It just fluctuates. Oh,
It does. Oh, we are live now. Hello, everybody, and welcome. If you're on this early, you are definitely watching the replay. We don't usually get people on this early, but thank you for joining us today. As you can see, I'm here with my friend Prerna Richards, which I'm so thankful, Prerna, that you and I virtually have met. I mean, we are so perfectly aligned, I think, in our philosophies and how our passion for ECE that it really does feel like it was a godsend that we
it
came
truly is.
together, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yes, I 100% agree, and I can't wait to meet you in person. Hi, everyone.
Me
If you're
too.
joining, and that's happening in October, we're
It
making it
is. It
happen.
is. Well, thank
I
you so much for yes. So what Prana's talking about is I'm hosting a conference in October. It's the Child Care Business Summit. It'll be October 21st through the 24th. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, they're actually selling out really quickly. I'm so excited and surprised how quickly everything's going. But the conference is in Reno, Nevada, beautiful Reno. We're staying at the Atlantis Casino and Resort, which I'm telling you guys, this resort is so amazing. You won't even have to leave it. You
It
could
sounds
literally,
amazing.
you could be there and not even leave. So I will, but that is not what we're talking about today. But I had to give myself that shameless plug since you mentioned it.
No,
But
no, I'm
yes,
excited. I'm
I
looking
know.
forward to it.
And for
Yeah.
those of you who want to meet us in person, come. That way you guys can meet us in person. But we're talking about something different today. Prerna has been a godsend for both my companies, actually, for my coaching business that I do for childcare professionals and also for my childcare center. Personally, I've hired Prerna to help my childcare center get through the NACI process. And I can tell you, I've worked with a lot of behavior coaches and just classroom experts. And I cannot say enough about how wonderful Prerna has been and her insight. I think my members can tell you too. Prerna does a monthly training for my membership program. And my members will tell you too, the classes that she does, the trainings are just transformational. So
Thank you. But I have to add to that God sent gift as well because Evelyn is my business coach. So she's helping the coach to grow the business. And I am so grateful for that because your insight is really helping me get a grapple with how to promote. We go into this business because we have a passion. We go into this business because we really have a heart for giving. You and I both come from a
yes,
place of service and a giving space, but we don't know all the ways how to get the message out. And we
yes,
could be the best tree in the forest, but if nobody knows you exist, it doesn't matter.
yes.
So the feeling is mutual, and you're definitely on my gratitude list every day.
Well, thank
Um,
you.
yeah, it's true because I really feel like collaboration and partnership is the only way forward. The field
Mhm.
of EC is so small that it's not like the regular businesses. I was talking to somebody yesterday and he said, it's a dog eat dog world out there. Everybody wants what you have and everybody wants a piece of what you have. And I said, I don't think like that in EC. We'd rather have a sandbox that we could all play in the sandbox together. And if you can play nicely in the sandbox, you can go to a different sandbox. But my sandbox has enough room to collaborate.
Exactly. And I totally agree. I'm on a mission. My passion is ECE, and I'm on a mission to change 10,000 centers. And the only way I'm going to do that is with collaborations with brilliant people like you. So, and by the way, Angie and Elizabeth both say hi. They're both members in my
Hi.
membership group. So they're both saying hi. Hi,
Yay.
ladies. So,
I'm so glad you're here.
yes, we are. So I'm bringing Prerna on today because she has a really exciting announcement that I'm excited about and an opportunity. So, Prerna, do you want to tell everybody about the opportunity you have coming up?
Yes, I am so excited about this. I have never done anything like this. I am hosting a unique online event. So it's not a training. I just have to clarify that. It is not just one more webinar, it's not just one more training. It is information, it's knowledge, and on top of that, it's personalized with coaching strategies for your specific problems. So what I'm going to be doing in the 4 hours. So it's on July 24th from 8:30 to 12:30. What I'm going to be doing is actually sharing coaching strategies that I have used in classrooms with families and I wanted made it accessible for everybody. So many people were saying to me, we can't afford you as a coach. We would love to have you. What can we do? And I said, okay, let's just host an event where you come with your questions. It'll be a hot seat. You can bring your questions anytime. You could send them to me, or you could ask them in the moment. And then let's break it down. Let's break it down. Okay, what is the behavior telling us? How do we address it? What are they trying to communicate? How to support your teachers? How to break the cycle. So I'm not giving you
Mhm.
theory, I'm giving you practical strategies that have been used and proven, and they actually work. Like, I
Yeah.
have turned classrooms around. I have actually helped. I'm not bragging, but I have 100% rate so far. Everybody I've worked with has benefited. There is not anybody who said, this is rubbish. It didn't help. It didn't happen. I would be honest and tell you if it did.
And Prerna, I'll tell you, as your business coach, brag. It's okay to brag. Brag about
Thank you for
yourself.
saying that.
We,
But
it's okay for us to brag about those accomplishments that we've had.
well, as long as they're true, right? If you're
Yes.
making a true statement and not exaggerating, I think it's okay to say that yes, the strategies I'm sharing are working, and I'm very confident about that because I have used them for so many years, but so many people just don't know them. And Evelyn, what I think is amazing about the work that we do, your space in the policies and staff retention and the business financial piece, and the space that I do supporting the teachers and the classrooms and the behaviors, we have spent enough time to know that it's not rocket science, that if we can do
Hmm.
things slightly differently, you can see results fairly quickly. Would you
Yes.
agree?
Yes. Yes, I absolutely agree. Absolutely. And like Shailene, I put her comment there on the screen that says we can't afford not to have you two in our lives. And that's something that we were actually just
Oh,
talking about, right? Isn't that so
oh,
sweet? Thank you so much, Shailene.
oh, thank
But
you.
that's something we were talking about right before we went live is and I'm going to actually do a spoiler now because she brought that up. So I will tell you guys that Prina and I are teaming up in our membership. So what we both agree, and we had just had this conversation that if you really want your center to get to the next level, you can't afford not to work with both of us. So we were brainstorming on how can we bring a way for everybody to work with both of us, because basically what we were talking about is your childcare center is like a puzzle, right? And in order to have all the pieces of the puzzle, we both have different pieces that we can bring to you. So if we team up together and really just collaborate much more intensely on our memberships, then we can bring that entire whole picture together for your centers. So on top of the transferring challenging behaviors, which I absolutely, everybody join Prerna. It's a great opportunity, but we will be also teaming up more on our memberships. We are going to have a membership opportunity where you can actually join both of our membership programs at once. So for my members that are on right now, I know that you guys are used to working with Prerna. She comes once a month into my membership program and teaches, and then you have the opportunity to do a 30-minute session a month with her. This is going to be different. We're going to actually be giving you guys the opportunity to actually have both of our membership programs. So as much as I'm available to you and what you get from me, you'll be getting from her also. So if you guys are curious about it, message, post in our private group, and we will be explaining more. But I had to give a spoiler since we
No,
kind of
I'm
hit
glad
that
that
segue.
see, this is how the universe aligns it. So, Shalyn coming on and saying that just brought it on. I think this is how we roll. We just go with the flow. And I also want to add to it, there is nothing else like this available. So there's
Yes.
absolutely nothing else like this available. This is why we're both super excited about it. If you belong to a franchise or Head Start or something else, then
Mm-hmm.
you have access to coaches and mentors, and you're taken care of. But if you're out there on your own, which I would say majority of the schools are, mom and pop in a church in a small space, you're on your own. And to have access to expertise, knowledge, skill, guidance, one-on-one support, so holding your hand and walking you through it instead of just throwing stuff at you. Both Evelyn and I, our approach is very hands-on. So we meet you where
Yes.
you're at, we walk the walk with you, we don't just throw stuff at you. So there isn't anything like that. To get your business coaching, to get your enrollment up, to get the right staff hired, to get your policies and procedures, you need Evelyn. But to meet the needs of your teachers, classroom management, classroom environment, NACI portfolios, or just curriculum or activities, or how to engage the brain and understanding from the child's perspective, you need
Yes.
me.
Yes.
So how to teach from a child's perspective.
Right.
How can you, when we do things in the classroom, how can we keep the child's brain in mind?
Hmm.
And so let's take a few minutes and talk about the importance of early years, right? 90%. I cannot get tired of saying
Yes.
this because
Yes.
it is true and it's important and it's powerful. 90% of the brain is getting wired birth to five.
Right.
That means for everything. That means for our cognitive ability, how we process information, how we learn, how we take safe risk, how we are taking challenges, how we grow up to be confident, how we grow up to be insecure, how we
Yes.
grow up to have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset, how we go through life and rely on others to solve our problems. I know somebody very close to me. She's a sweet, sweet, sweet person, but she has relied on everybody else her entire life to tell her what to do. And as a child, she's a cousin of mine, so I know. As a child, she didn't take risks. If there was anything that involved falling down and getting hurt, like getting on a bike and falling down, she would give up. Like, oh, I don't want to ride the bike because I don't want to get hurt. And that has been the strategy for her whole life, avoiding problems, avoiding risk, and avoiding challenges. And now in her life where she is, she's facing such a massive challenge and she's overwhelmed.
Yes. Yep.
And we grew up together, so I know when I would just get on a bike and I'm like, okay, the worst that can happen is I'll fall. Fine. I don't care. I want to try it. She wasn't. And that has been even driving on a highway. She'd rather not get on the highway because of the insecurity and the fear and lack of self-confidence, right? So the person we become, the foundation is laid in the early years. And the work that you do in your early childhood program clearly matters because you're
Hmm.
in this field, you're passionate about it, you want to make the world a better place, but you can't give what you don't have.
Right.
And so getting the knowledge, getting the expertise, getting the information so you can run your program at this level versus just being okay at this level.
Yep.
And guess what? It's not that hard. And guess what? It doesn't have to be so hard that you get overwhelmed.
Hmm.
You can do this. You can do this with help. You can do this with friends by your side.
Right.
So join the program, find out more. And I know it sounds like a shameless plug to say come join us, but I think our our our, our desire is coming from a really honest place. I want to help as many families as I can. I want to help as many children as I can because it really breaks my heart when the challenging behaviors get in the way of learning. It
Yes.
really breaks my heart when the director has to say, I don't have a choice. I have got to disenroll this family. And then this child gets bumped around, and they get, shuttled from program to program. But in all of this, the child is what's missing out, and the child can't get the skills they need. And so I am absolutely passionate about that space. It makes a difference. So let's give them a chance to thrive instead of barely survive.
Right.
Yeah, I
It,
think all children deserve that.
yeah, and I totally 100% agree with you. And I can tell you guys, just I've been both owners and direct. I've been a director and an owner, and I've walked both walks where I came from a place of scarcity. I wasn't doing the things I needed to do, the things that uh, Prerna was talking about. And when I decided to change everything, it's amazing how everything changed. And you would be amazed where a lot of times I know like the things that Prerna teaches when it comes to behavior management, we kind of it's hard. As an owner, I can tell you a lot of the things you're going to think to yourself, well, that's so expensive. I can't afford to do this. I can't. But in reality, you can't afford not to, because when I made the shift and I did become a really high quality program, which is exactly what Prerna teaches. She teaches how do you take those classrooms and make them very high quality classrooms, and real high quality, research based high quality, not what you might think is high quality. But basically, when
But
you make those shifts, mhm,
yeah, I was just going to add to what you said, that when you became a high quality program, you went from being not to use brand names or anything, but to give a visual. You can either be a Walmart,
yes,
or you could be a Nordstrom's or
yes,
Neiman Market. And when you are a Neiman Marcus program, your people are happy to pay you that higher
mhm,
tuition. Pe-
exactly.
People are happy to work for your program because it's not so stressful.
They're proud of it. Yes,
They're proud of it. And, you know, at the end of the day, you can have pride and say that, in my corner of the world, I am doing the best practices, and the children who truly come in my program and the staff, you got to take care of the staff. I mean, we did a session just for your members last month at the end of June, talking about how to understand your teachers, talking about how to support your teachers. Because if your teachers are not supported, there is no way they can show up
yep,
emotionally intelligent for your children.
yes, exactly. And it does. And I know for those of you owners and directors out there, it sounds very scary, but that is what will bring you financial freedoms in the end. Because, like Prina said, you can suddenly start charging more. People do. They like, for me at my center, people are afraid to lose their spot in my center because I have a
Mm-hmm.
wait list of over 300 children. It's over a year long. And let me tell you, there's some of my competition does not have a wait list at all. So there are spaces available in my town. It's just they want to be here in my center. And so what ends up happening is people, first of all, they do find a way to pay for it. When a person really wants something, they find the money. They find the money. So that scarcity mindset of, oh, people can't afford it. They can, and they
Yeah.
do. Secondly, they get scared to lose their spot in your center. So they make sure they pay you every month, right?
Mm-hmm.
And third, you can raise your prices to what you should be charging for the
Mm-hmm.
children's sake. And for those of you who've been watching me, my passion and my mission in life and my motto is that I want to make sure that every child has the opportunity to attend a high quality research based center, regardless of their socioeconomic status. So I can tell you guys that the first thing that means that I still serve children in poverty, but I'm still bringing in that income I need to bring in, because it just that high quality opens up so many opportunities. And so Latanya, and I'm sorry if I say your name wrong, Latanya asks the question, what did I change? So Latanya, I have an entire membership program now. Well, I actually teach now what I did in my centers. I've owned 4 centers altogether. I'm looking at buying my 5th right now. And I was a very, very struggling owner. At one point, I almost filed bankruptcy. I actually, at one point, it got so bad I had an eviction notice on my center's door, which I'm still there. 12 years later, I'm still there.
Wow.
And I've totally turned it around. And so there's a lot. I had to change how I did my business structure. I had to change my classroom management. The kind of curriculum, everything, honestly. I went from being a daycare to I say a childcare or a preschool program, right? I
That's right.
totally transformed everything.
Words, even words matter. So yeah, to transform everything. And I'm so happy that you still serve the
Hmm.
socioeconomic, because you're part of the quality rating program, and you wouldn't be if you were not serving that population. So and that's also part of your business model, that you can serve both perspectives of it. And nobody in the
Right.
classroom needs to know which household they come from, because the education is the same.
Exactly. Yes.
And I think that's where it matters, because words matter. And you brought up the daycare thing. So I absolutely cannot stand the word daycare.
Me too.
I think it minimizes the work that we do.
Yes.
The attention goes on the day and care. We're not
Yes.
taking care of the day. at least put childcare, or at least put preschool, or at least put education, because we're educating children, we're changing brains, we're having an impact. We're not taking care of a day.
Right.
And I don't know who invented that, and it needs to go away from our vocabulary in early childhood, because it demeans the important work that we do. And so, don't get me on the high horse for that. I just can't stand that
Me
word.
too. I can't. My staff is not allowed to
Yeah.
ever use
Yeah.
that word. And when parents, so I'll tell you just a quick story. We do an orientation. All new parents have to go through our orientation process. And one of the things in my orientation is I teach my parents, we are not a daycare. Do not call us a daycare. This is not daycare. The
So funny thing is, I do that in my trainings. So when you attend my training, one of the things that you will get brainwashed from after you leave, that do not ever use this word.
yes,
So
I
in our
agree.
own
Yep.
in our own way, we're spreading the message to as many people as we can. We're not a daycare, we're a childcare center, we're an education place, we're a preschool. We are doing important work. And the other day it was really interesting. Well, this has been a while because we've been in pandemic and we haven't gone to parties, but I do remember when we used to go to parties.
Yes.
So I was at my husband's work event, and there was a hotshot lawyer, I guess he was. I'm not exactly sure what his role was, but he came up to me, and he was all his suit, boot, and tie and everything, and looking at me, and he's like, "And I am a bloody blah from this firm. And what do you do?" Like talking down to the little woman in the room. I could so sense it that you're talking down
Yes.
to me. And I was like, "Well, actually, I change brains. What do you do?" And he was so stunned. He was so stunned. He was like, "Oh, how do you do that?" I said, "Well, I educate young children and I educate their educators. So I am actually
Mhm.
changing brains." And so, he was so stunned because of the comeback. And I was like, don't be belittling me over here, the little old
Exactly.
lady.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. That is what we do. We are forming the brains for the future, right?
Hmm.
And oh my gosh, you and I could go on and on about that. But Latanya has a question really quick. And Latanya, what do you think about the word observation center? So this is where me as a business coach comes in, right? And I think you and I need to probably have a conversation privately, Latanya, because that is where the coaching comes in. And I can tell you just a quick 30-second synopsis on that. When you're selling, you've got to basically think on how does the public perceive what's happening, right? So if you're calling it an observation center, what message is that sending to the public? And in ECE, I know what you're saying, but the general public will not know what you're saying. So the name of my company is Zooming Around, like my logos and everything say Zooming Around Children's Learning Center, right? And so that does, because I'm not exclusively a preschool, but I am not just childcare either. So thinking in terms of how can you get the message so that people understand what you do,
Hmm.
right? And you do kind of put yourself in that quality. So that's my 30-second coaching there. But that's the kind of thing I do with my clients all the time. And so again, though, today we're here to promote, and we got off on our tangent, right?
Oh,
On
it's all good.
the
It's all good. So what can you expect on the 24th? Let me just
Yes.
give you a little bit of a highlight of what will you learn about. So we will definitely take a deeper dive into the brain states. We will talk about stress, how stress shows up in your life and how it shows up in your children's life. And if for a minute you think that stress is just a little word, not true. Not
Yes.
true. And so each brain state, the survival brain, the emotional brain, the learning brain, they all have different behaviors and they all have different strategies to approach them. So I will walk you through how to diagnose what brain state it is. I will then also tell you what strategies will work best for that brain state. You will also learn vocabulary and language, because I think the biggest thing that most people struggle with when there is furniture flying and hitting and kicking happening and
Mhm.
destruction happening, what do I say in the moment? This is a question that comes up for me all the time. Prerna, it's really good to listen to all this, but what do I do in the moment? How am I going to help that child in the moment? How am I going to keep the others protected and safe? I have 14 and I'm by myself, and how do I do this? That's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to share with you specific words to use in the moment. I will
Right.
also tell you what to do before the moment, what to do after the moment. So I'm not just going to tell you in the moment, it's going to be a plan. So you feel more in control. You will have a plan before the behavior happens, during the behavior, and after the behavior. We will
Right.
also talk about, what is happening in your classroom that could be triggers. Your classroom room arrangement, your schedule, your activities, your curriculum, like where can you adjust and where could this be coming from? So the brain doesn't just hang in the air by itself, right? It's all connected. How best to get the children in this part of the brain, which is the learning brain,
Yes.
how to get them there so that you can teach instead of putting out fires all day,
Mhm.
so that you don't have to take your child and take it to the director's office and say, deal with it. This happens. I'm not
Right.
telling a story, it
Right.
happens. So I'm going to empower you. You will leave the session enlightened, empowered, inspired. These are words that other people have used in my trainings. I'm not just making them up. I'm going to give you practical, effective strategies.
Yes. And I did put, now this is my second time I'm actually posting in the chat the link to Prerna's workshop. So go ahead and click on that link to find more information. And again, if you guys have any questions, leave us comments on in the comment section, and we can absolutely answer
Yeah,
any
and I
questions.
just wanted to add that I'm really keeping this as a very small private group.
Nice.
I'm not looking for a large crowd. The reason being because whoever does show up, I want to make sure that their questions are answered and we have enough time to personalize the coaching. So that's what
Right.
it is. It's a coaching session one on one where it's very reasonably priced. I mean, I'm practically giving it away so that you can get what you need. And if
Yeah.
you like what you got, then you can join our membership. You can get the business help, you can get the coaching help for your teachers and your classrooms. For the coaching help that I give with the teachers, I do side by side with the teacher. It could be one teacher, it could be all your classrooms. Um, we can do video recording and I can give feedback, and we can, have the teacher sit with me to, like on Zoom, obviously, if it's long
Yes.
distance, but walk the walk. So it's not going to be a lecture for the teacher. I'm actually coaching one of a staff member at Evelyn's team, and we're walking it together. It's not
Yes.
like I have the
Absolutely.
information and I'm dumping it on you. So uh, if you want to turn your school around, if you want to turn your program around, you can't afford not to join us.
I
Seriously.
agree. Yes, that's going to be our new motto, right?
Yeah, I just think it's going to be worth it because
I do too. Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Prerna, and thank you, everybody. I hope we see lots of you there. We
Thank
will
you.
talk
And
to you
ask
guys later.
questions,
Yes,
direct messages,
absolutely.
ask questions. Don't sit in a wondering space. If you
Yes,
have a question, we have an answer.
right.
We
Okay.
think, we think.